It's Madden NFL 23, and coming up, it'll be no holds barred between AFC East rivals. It's the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, next on EA Sports.
We are about 15 or so miles northwest of world-famous Miami Beach as we are set for football at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. Today, we got an AFC East matchup between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Hi again, everyone. I'm Brandon Gordon. Welcome to the NFL on EA Sports. With me, as always, Charles Davis. And, Charles, we look at a matchup like this. It's really the running backs may take center stage here today.
And in today's football, they're still valuable, not just as runners, but guys who can catch the ball as well. It's really the number of touches that determines things these days.
Here's Jason Sanders now to get this one started. And we are underway from Miami. From the 6. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They'll be led out by their veteran QB, the former Delaware Blue Hen, Joe Flacco.
Remember when the conversation was, is Joe Flacco elite? Well, at one point, he was elite enough to not only win a Super Bowl, but be named the MVP of that game. And for a time, one of the top-paid quarterbacks in the league. Not bad for a young man transferred to Delaware from Pitt while in college. This guy's had a great career. Not many chances now to lead an offense, but still capable if put on the field.
And they'll run it. This is James Robinson. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. But you often say that sort of opens the playbook now, second and short. What do you think, early shot here?
I like where you're going. Obviously, we've been together for a while because you know me. I want to take that shot early and loosen things up.
The previous run, good for 9. Here's second and a yard. Passing play, Flacco. And he completes it to Wilson. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Here's Flacco. He finds Corey Davis. And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped. 23 yards on the play.
One of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 39-yard line. On the jet sweep, here comes more. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20.
Well, I sure wouldn't be surprised if we see more of this as this game goes on, because we know they like to use their wideouts either on quick throws or on jet sweeps like what we just saw there. And to say that that one worked well, partner, that's stating the obvious.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete.
As a corner, you have to be able to run with guys step for step downfield with man coverage and make up ground quickly in zone. You have to put yourself in position to make plays, just like that one we saw there.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Here's a Florida native from up near Pensacola. It's Michael Carter. And despite the fancy footwork, we saw they'll get to him just inside the 15. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
That 2nd down play call was not to pick up the 1st down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable 3rd down because they had incompletion on 1st down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
3rd down. Flacco needs a decent chunk of yardage. And that is incomplete.
I will see more of them trying to get him a football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
So here's Greg Zuerlein now as he'll try for the field goal. From the left hash, a 31-yard attempt. Zuerlein's kick is up and through. And the Jets hit the board first. It's 3-0. That was a long, sustained opening drive, but in the end, only able to get 3, the field goal out of it.
And absolutely, you'll take the points and the early lead. You never give those back. But there will be a little bit of disappointment that they didn't punch it in for 6 after that kind of yardage and that kind of drive that they had.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at 25. So here come the Dolphins now as they get set to take over on offense. Bringing it out is the rookie, a 7th-round pick out of Kansas State, Skylar Thompson.
I tell you what, when he is on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense.
First and 10, here's Thompson. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Sheldon Rankins abruptly ends that play with a sack. And they get to him right out of the gate. And this defense hoping that that's a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah, when you give up a first-play sack, makes your quarterback wonder if he's going to go to the sidelines to talk with his offense coordinator and head coach and say, hey, you know that game plan we put together? We might need to change it right now.
Now then, after the sack, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for 2nd and 23. Here's Thompson. Got a man complete to Cedric Wilson. So they'll get 8 out of that completion. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here. Tall task ahead of them here, needing a full 15 yards to move the chains. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. That's complete to his tight end, Mike Gesicki. A gain of 4, not enough, and it looks like punt time on their opening drive as it's 4th down. Able to get the completion, but unfortunately not able to get the 3rd down conversion there on that play.
And I like how the defense approached that one. They knew what the 1st down marker was, and they decide whatever you want to have, you can. You're just not going to get the 1st down. Excellent tackling right there.
Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. The Jets have Braxton Berrios back deep. Now, fair catch is called for and taken at we'll call it the 37-yard line. Just 34 yards on the punt there, no return. And the Jets will take over 1st and 10. To pass, Flacco. Able to complete this one to Tyler Conklin. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. So the completion good for 7 there. And it'll be 2nd down. That tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. 4 yards the pickup, 1st down.
Well, that was a unit that understood exactly where the 1st down marker was, handed it to their guy who could run it, created some space, and he got there.
The football, it's loose. And the defense not able to get it. From a defensive perspective, what's that moment like when you realize the ball is loose?
It is a moment where all concentration goes right to the football. This is something you've talked about in all your preparation for the game. You probably talked about since training camp. Knock the ball free, take it away from the other team, and now you have that chance. There's a little bit of deflation when they end up recovering it.
They knocked it free, but couldn't take it away. It'll be loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down coming up.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got to jump here.
Encroachment, defense.
And that'll be a free 5 yards for the offense.
Just like a tennis match, that's just an unforced error. Stay alert, don't jump early, and give them free yardage.
And the penalty, a big assist to this offense. Now it's 3rd and 3. Robinson will try to pick it up. And he'll be tackled about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. A 1-yard pickup leads to 4th down.
And that was a big-time play by the defense. They as well knew where the 1st down line was, and they didn't let them get anywhere near it.
They'll run for it with Robinson. Now a loose football. The ball comes out. And this is picked up by the Dolphins. The 40. The 20. And this is brought all the way back. A fumble recovery and taken to the house for a Miami touchdown. And that's a linebacker showing he can move pretty good with a football in his hand.
That's not just a short shuttle now. He took it a pretty good distance, didn't he? Did you get the 40 time on that?
I didn't. But he got 6 points out of it. That'd be a great play for that defensive unit. Jason Sanders now for the extra point. He's got it. We'll see that opening right field goal and raise it a touchdown, and that makes it 7-3. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way. The fumble return for a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This one taken just inside the 10. And it's a pretty good return here, so he'll get this up to the 29. The offense running out, and we shine the spotlight on the undrafted revelation, James Robinson. Looking for a bounce back. Had a fumble a moment ago that went for a touchdown the other direction. See if he can get back in rhythm.
And you have to be very careful about having too quick of a hook with really good players. I did a guy's game in high school where he fumbled 3 times in the first quarter, finished with over 300 yards on the night, later ended up in the NFL. If you've got a talented back, give it back to him.
Now a handoff to start it out. Robinson. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, give them credit for trying, but there's no fooling the defense with that call. They were reading run, and they set up to stop the run, and then executed.
Still 9 remaining on 2nd down. 2nd down and a run by Robinson. And he'll fight for a couple as the tackle is made at about the 32.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on the quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature and make sure you don't get hurt.
On 3rd down, here's Carter. And he's going to come up a few yards short of the first. They get him to the ground at the 37. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
4th and short, partner. I mean, this will be a really risky call. Here we are in the first quarter.
On your own side of the field.
Own side of the field. But, boy, what a tone setter that would be to go for it and get it, wouldn't it?
You're gritty today. I like it.
I'm feeling it.
On 4th down, punt coming from Braden Mann. Back deep is Tyreek Hill. Call that a 45-yard punt, just 2 yards there on the return. And it'll be Dolphin football. So Miami coming out for their 2nd drive. And they'll certainly be trying to do better than that first drive where they went 3 and out.
And sometimes the first drive is just simple to settle nerves. You know what it's like at the start of a game with the emotion, guys a little bit jumpy.
You do.
Oh, you understand the same way. Just like us calling one, right? Making sure we ease into the game, let it come to us.
Well, you went 3
and now they have that opportunity.
No, you didn't go 3 and out. I went 3 and out on that first drive. I'll try to do better here. And going deep for Hill. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on 1st down, but he couldn't reel it in.
I usually hesitate when I say a guy's got world-class speed, but this guy might. So let's fire the starter pistol. Let's go. If you've got him, you've got to try and use him. A lot of anticipation with the ball in the air, but no, incomplete.
First carry for Raheem Mostert. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on 1st down, and you're able to shut down the running play on 2nd.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in the expected passing situation.
So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and long. Thompson over the middle and complete to Waddle. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Thompson going play action here. Incomplete.
Really good coverage all over the field, and it took away his intended read and almost dared him to try for his guy out of the backfield. No surprise on that one. It doesn't connect.
So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. Thompson going to throw again on 2nd down. And his throw here is incomplete.
The coverage was good, but I just wonder if they absolutely fooled the quarterback on that play. I think he was expecting something else, ended up with nowhere to throw the football successfully.
The threat of a 2nd straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. Thompson looking to throw. That one caught by Tyreek Hill. And he stepped up short of the first as they tackle him down at about the 36. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And it'll be 4th down.
Well, it looks like they got what they wanted. They got the completion, but they weren't able to break any tackles or gain nearly enough yardage to pick up the first down. Now to be 4th and short.
Now the veteran Thomas Morstead on to punt it away. Call it an even 40-yard punt, 7-0 on the return. And the Jets will take over. The New York set to take the field. Charles, a very uninspired effort. The last time we saw them out there was a quick 3-and-out, then they punted the football.
Yeah, and you never want to get stopped so soundly during a series, but what would be even worse now is letting it happen again right here. They've got to get going.
And they'll come out with a 3 tight end look on the first play of the drive. They start on the ground with Robinson here. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings us 2nd and 5.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Now Flacco. That's complete. It's Elijah Moore. And he's going to be out up around the 45-yard line. His first catch of the game, good for 11 and a first down.
And that's a nice catch there. Remember, he had the fumble earlier. No way he was giving up the ball in that situation. Secured it tight to his body and picks up the first down.
Flacco fakes the give, sets to throw. Looking left sideline, but it's incomplete. Garrett Wilson, the intended receiver, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Not sure what happened out there. It looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
Darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Robinson up the middle. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield after a gain of about 4. After 1, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. The Jets with the football here to start the second quarter. This offense so far on 3rd down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This will be 3rd and 6. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early, and now it's 4th down.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it was a fumble, really. Now the Jets send on Braden Mann to punt. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And this will be out of bounds, and they spot it at the 15-yard line. Not too bad. Miami's offense set and ready to go. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
Thompson will look to the air on first down. Got his hit, and the ball is knocked out, and it's scooped up by the Jets. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
And now this offense comes back out onto the field. They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. If they want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
On 1st and 10, it's Carter. And he'll get about 5 here as he'll take this down inside the 20-yard line.
Hey, it's not the most spectacular play, but I think most teams will take that every single time for the first play of a drive. Begin the series with positive yardage and set yourself up for a very manageable second down.
The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. Straight ahead, it's Robinson. And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
We just keep trying, but so far, finding no room for him to run.
None whatsoever. In fact, you run numbers. He's under 3 yards a carry at the moment. They have great starting position to begin the drive, but now they look up at a 3rd and 5. Draw play, Carter. And he'll be stopped well short. Only 2 yards there, 4th and 3.
Well, this is just simply excellent defense. On this 3rd down, they had to be alert for a possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stopped them for almost no gain.
Flacco now on 4th. This is caught. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. Some collective exhales over there on the sideline. A big pickup through the air on 4th down to bring up 1st and goal.
What an excellent end result for them. But let's go back to the decision, first of all, to go for it all on 4th down. A lot of pressure on the quarterback's shoulders, but they knew he could handle it. Makes the right read there, gets the ball to his receiver. They get the 1st down. It's now 1st and goal.
Now whistles come in before the snap. Looked like one of the Jets may have moved. That flag accepted, and it backs the offense up a little bit. So from the 2, now they move back to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal. Here's Flacco. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away. A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
And I see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
Back to the ground with Carter. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Only a couple yards there, and that's going to set up a long 3rd and goal. Defensively, I think they can smell a stop ball right around the 5 here, brings up 3rd.
And I think what they've done is they put doubt in the minds of the offensive guys. What do we do? Because now you don't have a go-to play. Either side they pick, throwing it, running it, it won't be easy.
Delay of game, offense.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
Still 3rd down.
How crucial will those 5 yards be? We'll see as they come up again here, 3rd and goal. Flacco. And that is incomplete. But the pressure there on 3rd down, forcing the errant pass. 4th down coming up.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
So here's Greg Zuerlein now as he'll try for the field goal from 28 yards out. Zuerlein's kick is up and through, and they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So the defense are able to force their first turnover of the game, and then they add on to that by getting the field goal.
And you don't just want to take the ball away from your opponent, partner. You want to make them hurt as well. If you don't score yourself on defense, turn it over to your offense and have them put points on the board.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. From the 10. and he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. The Dolphins ready to take over on offense. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only give up the field goal and they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive? A little more pep in their step because they did cost their team a touchdown, but they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, Lane.
I think coach would be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield and push in the end zone without turning it over.
And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. 16 yards right off the bat and a first down.
Certainly no settling into the drive there. They came right out on the first play, attacked the middle of the field for a big gainer and a first down.
So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line. First down. Here's Thompson. And he'll get this into the hands of Hill, complete. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Another big play as they get 28 out of that one.
Now they've completed a couple on this drive, but they killed off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? So in jet territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Up the middle they go with Mostert. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Defensively, we always know that he is tough and run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game and reading, reacting, and taking the right path to the ball carrier.
From the 31, Thompson. And his throw's going to be incomplete. He was looking for his tight end, Mike Gesicki, and it's 3rd down.
But that's a defense coordinator's got to be happy with that result. They took away all options downfield and forced the incompletion.
This offense on 3rd down today, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. Now it's Thompson. And they'll get this on the screen to Mostert. Good contain, no gain on the screen, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And I know that one didn't work out the way they thought, but I don't think it was a bad time to call this play. You're thinking on 3rd down, you might possibly see some pressure. You might see a blitz. So they tried to set up the screen, but that one was well read, and they stopped them for no gain.
So on 4th down, Dolphin kicker Jason Sanders comes on. On the left hash, this from 48 yards. The kick by Sanders is good. And they bump the lead up to 4 now at 10-6. Well, in a close game like this, obviously you want the touchdown, but certainly they will take the 3.
And they'll be okay with that. We'll still work hard to the defense as well. I'm just glad this doesn't come down to a debate, right? Which side won, partner? Because the defense, hey, we didn't give up a touchdown. The offense, hey, we put 3 on the board. Either way you look at it, I think both sides gained something out of that drive.
After the field goal, here comes Sanders to kick it away. And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out. Now this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. Throwing here on 1st down, Flacco. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds. So give them 5 yards there on the pitch and catch. And it'll be 2nd down.
If you're running out route, it's likely you're going to end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up and making sure it was a catch.
To throw again on second down. Flacco, his throw incomplete.
I think he could have scanned downfield forever, but there wasn't anything available. Ends up throwing an incompletion, and I think he'll take that.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Setting up to throw, Flacco. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Dolphins. So they take over not only in enemy territory, but in the red zone at the 16-yard line. In their locker room, they got a sign that says defense wins championships. And Charles, they pointed to that this week, said that has to be us. Looking good early.
I like how you saw that because of the bold letters, right? You saw the emphasis that they place on that and what they believe in. And for them, it's every single snap. So it's not just a matter of getting to the quarterback and knocking the ball free. They're trying to read when that ball is going to come free. As soon as those hands separate to throw the ball, they want to be there and have a chance to knock it out.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Following the fumble recovery, Thompson. Open man is Waddle, complete. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And it'll bring up a 2nd and short. A run with Mostert up the middle. And he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. Raheem Mostert, an 8-yard touchdown run. And the Dolphins are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Solid blocking up front from the guys on the offensive line allowed him to get in for the touchdown.
Yeah, some might say that the guys on the offensive line were in concert. I used to have a coach who called it marrying up. Meaning, when you get on a guy, you just stay right there. Each guy has his own assignment. That allowed the runner to make the big move towards the end zone.
Extra point up and good by Sanders. And that pushes the lead up to 11. After the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out. Another go-around now for the Jets offense. Last time out, they had a fumble. That led to the touchdown. Not a great look on either side of the ball as the defense gave up the points too, Charles. But they've got to take care of the football and do better here on this possession.
It's certainly been a tough stretch, partner, for both of those units, and they kind of put their defensive needs in a really tough spot there by dropping the ball on the ground. But an easy way to make it up to them, get out there now and get some points on this drive.
Flacco and the Jets now with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They begin the drive with Robinson. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at 2nd down.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown. So a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later. And let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on 1st down.
On 2nd down, a run with Carter. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5.
I really like the vision he displayed on that play because he saw there wasn't a lane to completely break off a huge gain. So he found where there was the most space and got what he could. A nice, dirty run that's a positive play for the offense.
They'll run with Carter. Spinning away and able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. Give them 12 yards there, and the Jets have a first.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? It looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. They'll run again here with Robinson. And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. 93 yards rushing for now to this point.
That's the kind of run that gets everyone excited on offense. And you know, oftentimes the guys who carry the ball are the ones in the huddle doing the chirping. Right? And I think it's the offensive line telling them, run it again. We are right there about to break a big one.
The offense on 3rd down, it's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2. Carter straight ahead. And he will be very close to a first down. I see the close fist of the referee, and that means 4th down.
I bet they thought they had picked that one up because it was a 3rd and 2 call. And they got awfully close. Now we're at 4th and inches. I wonder if they think they're feeling lucky here and maybe want to go pick it up.
Here's Braden Mann now as he's on a punt for New York. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20. Miami set to take over. And as the offense begins another drive here, pretty simple, Charles. They want to carbon copy what happened the last time out when they ended their drive in the end zone.
You're right about that, partner. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Just score again, but we know it's not that simple because we don't just make adjustments at halftime if you're a good football team. You spend that time on the sideline, you study what's on the notes and the tablets, and you make those adjustments to prevent a repeat of the last drive. Series to series, the best teams, that's how they get it done.
And we'll find out here soon enough whether those adjustments are enough defensively. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down. On the handoff, this is Mostert. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Here's Towson. On the right side, open is Gesicki. Short completion, just 4 yards. And now we've got a 3rd and 4.
Well, they were unable to make anything really big out of that, but it's not a bad idea to find your tight end and give him an easy completion and keep moving things forward. Almost as bread and butter as a good running back dive play.
Yeah, the Jets D, they call on a couple extra defensive backs on 3rd. Thompson now. Throwing quickly to Wilson. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's a big conversion there on 3rd down because they did not want to give the ball up here late in the half. They'd love to take the clock all the way down and score. This will definitely help the cause.
Couple of first downs to kick off the drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46. 1st and 10, here's Thompson. It's Hill, complete. And he's going to be taken down right at the 40-yard line. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll step in with just over a minute to go before halftime. Thompson on 1st and 10. Getting this out to the flat, Mostert. And he's going to be out of bounds down around the 35-yard line.
Now that's the type of play that gives you a chance to win. Nothing forced downfield where you don't have a guy open. Swing it out to the back, maybe even check it down, whatever you want to call it. Gain of 5. You're just trying to get 4 on 1st down. They're ahead of the chains now.
Sticking with Thompson here. Open man is Hill. He's got it. And that's going to be another 1st down as the tackle made at the Jets' 24-yard line. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. First down, Thompson. He'll get this to his tight end, Gesicki. And he's brought down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Thompson, and that is incomplete. So 17 seconds now on the clock here.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare completion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up, not that time. Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Thompson going to throw it to the end zone, but it's incomplete.
That was a touchdown if he could have hung on. Instead, it was a well-timed collision to jar that one free.
So they won't get a touchdown, and here's a chance to at least get 3 to end the 1st half. This just a 35-yard attempt from the left hash. Sanders' kick is good, and the Dolphins will add on their lead. So a well-paced drive. They were able to calmly take it down the field, and then they finish the half with 3 points.
Yeah, and that's what's commonly known as playing the 2-for-1 game, right? Being able to get the points at the end of the half, knowing you're getting the ball to start the 2nd half, gives you a chance to go out and double what you got done in the 1st half.
So not much time to work with here. 9 seconds remain in the half as this one is away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And with only 9 seconds remaining and not much time, we'll see how they play this. They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So the 2 teams will head to the locker rooms here in Miami with the Dolphins on top. As we go up to Orlando now and hand it over to Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everyone, to our brand new studios here in downtown Orlando in the EA Sports Halftime Report. First up, though, let's take a look at the next-gen stats in that first half for the Jets. And they did have some success running football in those first 2 quarters, and that might be something they continue to work on as they try to get back in this game.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Dolphins in front, and they'll be in possession of the football first as the second half gets started. And we will not see a return to start the half, as this will be a touchback. Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. This offense set to begin the third quarter. And, Charles, if they had a checklist of things they wanted to accomplish in the first half, certainly at the top of that list would be having the lead, and they've got that here.
That's always the most important box to check, isn't it? But also, they've had some success in their passing game, so probably an empty box, establishing the run. They're on pace for fewer than 100 yards in this one, so now they want to make sure that they get that going so they truly have a control in this ball game, and down the stretch, being able to be balanced, either throw it or run it, and try and win this ball game.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. Fresh out of the locker room, they hit him with a gain of over 20.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield. Play action here, Thompson. That's going to be caught by Waddle. And they're going to get this to about the 44-yard line. On second down, Moser. And he stopped after a gain of 1. Not enough. Still a yard to go on third down. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still had the lead.
Yeah, they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they can actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
So 3rd and 2, this quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped. Off play action, Thompson. He'll be taken down. The Jets get in there for the sack. Carl Lawson, he's the culprit, causes a loss of 5, and it brings up 4th down. Impressive individual effort there. No one was going to stop him around the edge.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's why if you play in a 4-3 base and you're a defensive end, that's why you get the big bucks. They count on you to do everything. Defend the run, and of course, get to the quarterback.
Here's Thomas Morstead now as he's on to punt for Miami. Oh, it's a wobbler here. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. So here's the Jets offense now as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
Flacco and the Jets now with a 1st and 10 at their own 23. And right side, they're going to go option here. And he is going to lose yardage here. A nice stick and stop for a loss there from Jalen Phillips.
Well, we saw a lot of negative plays that resulted in plenty of lost yardage in the first half. And that trend is continuing here.
Let's roll. Keep on going.
Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. Flacco. And that is caught. It's Davis. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. So they will wave off the flag and let the completion stand.
Really great job by the receiver fighting through all the contact and still coming down with the football. All that great work in practice being put into the game.
On the give, here's Robinson. Oh, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 106 yards on the ground for him now as he's done that on 15 carries.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
first and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 46.
Back to Robinson now on first down.
And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. That really sets them back, a loss of 6.
And now you have to wonder, partner, at what point in time do they forget the running game? It's been a struggle so far in this one. I would think they'd have to start throwing it a little bit more.
Let's go now. Let's go.
Tough spot looking at 2nd and 16 here after the big loss. To pass, Flacco. Open man here is Conklin. And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46.
Such a tough position to defend near the line. Even when you add a second defender, but the big man shrugged off extra body and made the play call a success.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Here's Flacco. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
As defensive coordinators around the league tell me all the time, that throw is not for every quarterback because you really got to drive the ball downfield. It's going to be a tight window for him to fit that one into. In this case, unsuccessfully.
And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good, and this will remain a 2-touchdown game. That would have been from way downtown. Pretty big roll of the dice, and he comes up a bit short.
Yeah, you knew when you saw the holder setting up on the other side of the 50 that this was going to be a long shot. But to me, there's really no loss here because you've shown confidence in him, kicking it from a long distance, now to pay dividends. And the miss, you can shake that one off. He wasn't likely to make it in the first place.
This offense got to be loving this. After the long missed field goal, they'll take over on the other side of the 50. 1st and 10.
Thompson will look to the air on first down. And he'll be brought down inside the 40-yard line.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against him because you're running away from people.
On the jet sweep, here comes Waddle.
And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line.
Well, they gave up a few yards there, but all in all, I think it's a pretty nice job defensively against the jet sweep. If they don't slow him up, he might take it to the house, so they'll take that play every time on the defensive side of the ball.
Off the play fake, it's Thompson.
Eluding the pressure, and he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down.
John Franklin Myers, the one in there to drop him.
They get the sack on the blitz, but it was 3rd and inches. Are you surprised like I am they weren't running the football there?
I'm right there with you. I would have thought it worst. Quarterback sneak, try and pick up the first down and move on. But instead, I think they thought they could catch him by surprise and maybe hit something deep.
Here's Thomas Morstead now as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And here's a very low line drive, almost whiffed on it. And this will carry out of bounds. Where are they going to spot it now? At about the 18-yard line, it looks like. Here's the Jet offense now. They head out to take over. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
Flacco and the Jets now with a 1st and 10.
At their own 18. Now a handoff to start it out. Robinson.
Up to the 20.
Well, any lane that might have been open there is closed pretty quickly. That was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, helped their spot, and stacked him up.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Now it's Flacco. And his throw is incomplete.
He came through with a nice pass broke up there. Fortunately that he was on the spot. He's the only guy left to prevent the first down.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Flacco. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short.
I thought they might take a shot down the field, but instead they ran a little drag route there. I think they were hoping he could catch it and run away from the defender. But a really good job keeping the play in front of them, and they force a fourth down.
Here's the Jets punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. Watch out for Hill on the return. A nice return that time of about 14 yards. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. And we get Tyreek Hill and the rest of the Miami offense back out there. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it? Right. Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
First down, here's Thompson. Over the middle, he's got Gesicki, a big 6'5" tight end. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a 1st down.
Well, the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
On 1st down, they go with Mostert again to the 43, 2nd down. And they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. 2nd down. Here's Thompson. And he's got it. Got his man on the in route. Complete. And they'll get this down to around the 47-yard line.
As a passer, you're always trying to find that open window to throw the ball downfield. How about this one? Right in the middle of the field, right in the heart of the defense.
On 1st and 10, it's Mostert. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8.
He's had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end.
Let's go, man.
8 yards the gain on that last run. Here's 2nd and a couple. Again, they'll run it with Mostert. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now a give to Mostert running right. And he'll take this down to the 33.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defense in front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Thompson looking middle, and it's incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap. He locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
The 25-yard line is what they need here. This is third down.
Third and long, Thompson. He'll get this on the screen to Mostert.
And he'll be stopped short of the first down as they rally to tackle him at about the 28. 5 yards, not enough, and it'll be fourth down.
The key to any screen play is all in the deception. That means everyone on the offensive side of the ball, but someone gave it up because that one wasn't very well concealed. And the defense able to rally to him and hold him for just a short gain.
Jason Sanders now for the Miami field goal. From the right hash, this from 45 yards away. And the attempt at 3 will have to come from the other end of the field as time has run out on this third quarter. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Back now in Miami. It's Dolphin football. It's also Dolphin lead to begin quarter number 4.
They'll try it now with Mostert.
And he gets the first down here as he's taken down at the 24. And I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10.
They'll stay on the ground with Mostert.
And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. Second down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
Running the counter with Mostert.
And he's going to get this down close to a first at about the Jets 16. Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or 2 short here with third down coming up.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now.
They'll go with a touch pass here, trying to pick it up.
And he picks up the first as he's able to take it down to the 7-yard line. It goes as a gain of 9, and it moves the chains.
Well, that'll help the old passing stats. Remember, it was a hot pass, so it's not a wide receiver run there, Charles.
But I like the way that you scored it, and that's exactly how it goes into the books. But remember, he's had success throwing the ball the standard way in this game. And here, this little tap pass, it goes for good yardage, a little something extra in his repertoire.
Now Thompson.
And it's caught. Touchdown, Dolphins.
Jalen Waddle.
A 7-yard touchdown grab.
And the Dolphins have pretty well put away here in the fourth quarter. I've heard you use the term put-away drive, and that right there seemed like the definition of put-away drive.
Yeah, it certainly just pops right up out of the book, doesn't it? Because up 2 scores already, just wanted to possess the football, keep converting and picking up first downs. And if the drive ends in 3 points, that's terrific. If it ends in a touchdown, fantastic.
Sanders now to add the extra point. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21 points. That one was an extended drive, 14 plays all told.
And it was finished off by a Jalen Waddle touchdown.
After the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders.
And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out.
The Jets offensive unit ready to get going here. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time, hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. Flacco and the Jets now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Wilson's got it complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first. Well, those are the types of plays they probably wish they had made more of in the first 3 quarters. And this deficit going to be tough to overcome here in the 4th. But a nice first down and a pickup on that throw.
Yeah, and this is where as coaches, you're looking for effort and execution, even though the scoreboard is going against you. You want to find out who's going to fight, who's going to scrap, who's going to keep their heads up and continue to play. They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another completion to the total number that they've forced in this runaway contest.
Incomplete on first down. Now Flacco on second. Over the middle, complete. It's Moore. And this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46. The Jets on 3rd down. Not getting the job done at all. A very poor 1 for 10. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. He has a man. It's complete to Wilson. And he is going to have a Jets first down, and he's going to have it by plenty. Able to get 8 yards there on 3rd and 2.
But give the defensive guys a little bit of credit. They didn't let the deep ball beat them on that play, did they?
No, the drag, that guy could be your safety valve. We saw it right there.
Yeah, and they picked up a first down for him, too.
And again, it's Flacco to throw. He's going to look deep for more. And this is caught. And he's going to get this down inside the 5 before he's out of bounds. Big yardage that time for the Jets. 43 yards. Well, he's been doing this for a lot of years. The arm strength still there, and he showed it off on that one.
And for a while when this place opened, all the talk was about punts hitting the Giants scoreboard here in Arlington. I don't think we ever heard about pass hitting the scoreboard, but that's probably about as close as you're going to get. That one was way up there.
And that Mike McDaniel, he's going to ask him to take a closer look at this call. Out comes the challenge flag. Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Now here's the call.
After review of the play, ruling on the field.
So the decision to challenge does not pan out, and that's also going to cost him a timeout. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. Once more, it's Flacco. That's to Davis. He's got it. Touchdown, New York. A 3-yard touchdown pass. And the Jets are finally in the end zone here in this 4th quarter. So a little bit of a letdown there defensively. I mean, look, you're still 2 scores to the good, CD, but things may be a little more uncomfortable than they hoped.
Yeah, if you kept them out of the end zone there, this game's over. You've locked the door on them. Instead, it's still open a little bit, and they've got puncher's chance.
Zerline connects on the extra point, and the lead will be cut down 14. That time, a 6-play drive, and it ends with a Jet touchdown. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Takes it at the 7. And able to get this out to the 25. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
Thompson on 1st and 10. Over the middle and complete to Waddle. And a pretty little juke move there on a nice gain. They'll come up now on 2nd and a yard. From the gun, a run with Mostert. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there. And on that play, I saw defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing, in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or you just come from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously, but at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
Throwing on first down, but this one lines up to be incomplete.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Up the middle they go with Mostert. And able to get a couple as he's across the 40 to the 41.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
The Jets will bring in a nickel set as they try to stop this 3rd down. Thompson now. And that will be incomplete. Critical play in this football game, because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
Here's Thomas Morstead now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback. And New York set to take the field. Well, still a long way to go, but trending upward. They scored the last time out, you remember. Then their defense forced the punt. Now they try to inch closer, but still ultimately down 2 scores in the final quarter. Flacco and the Jets now with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And he overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete.
Get a big credit for his coverage right there, because when he saw the route put deep, he stayed in position to prevent a completion while avoiding any risk of a flag.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 for the 20. Now Flacco. He'll get this one complete to Davis. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a first down.
All right, this is the time of the game where they're down a couple of scores, and they really got to get some yards in chunks, and they know the defense doesn't want to give those up. They've got to find a way to take them anyway.
Now the question is, can they string a few of those together? So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Hand off to Robinson out of the shotgun. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 122 yards for him on the ground now on 18 carries.
We'll definitely see some open running lanes, and he's taking advantage of it right now, but that shouldn't be a surprise. Defense has the lead. They're playing for the pass first.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 47.
A give up the middle to Carter. And a pretty good burst right there as he'll take this down to the 33.
Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success.
Let's go, baby. Turn it up.
Throwing here on 1st down. Flacco.
A throw to the flat for Carter. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line.
You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Flacco.
And pass complete to Moore. And he'll be brought down at the 27.
One thing I think it's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. You're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5. Flacco. Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29.
Buried behind the line by Christian Wilkins. It seemed like he kept going through those progressions, and I thought he might dump that underneath, but he couldn't get rid of the football in time.
And I have to wonder if he was thinking while he was back there, I wish there were a lot less progressions on this play, just someone that I could dump the ball to and get it out of my hands.
Here we go. 4th down, 4th quarter. Flacco. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert. And he turned it over. The Jets trying, but the 4th down play doesn't work. And the Dolphins defense is able to hold. So still over 3 minutes remaining in this game, but boy, not getting that one that hurt.
That's a little bit demoralizing, so they have to be careful about that because still have an opportunity if they can get some things done on defense. But now, since they've taken over on downs, team with the ball, guess what? Going to 4-minute offense, maybe they can put this thing away.
On the ground, it's Mostert to start the drive. And he maneuvers up the middle for 3, and it's 2nd down.
And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensible.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage. Use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning.
2nd down, here's Mostert again.
Oh, he's got some breathing room. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45.
83 yards rushing now from Mostert as he picks up a 1st down. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Once again, it's Mostert.
And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. An ideal down and distance to try to finish this thing off. 2nd and inches.
A run with Mostert up the middle.
And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. Now the Jets going to use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. On the handoff, this is Mostert.
Knifes his way forward here, but just 3 yards on the play. Second down.
Now a timeout called for by the defense as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play.
They hand it off to Mostert.
He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try to fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Thompson now from the gun.
He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Tyreek Hill from 21 yards away.
And the Dolphins have made it a 3-score game now here in the fourth. I suppose it wasn't out of the realm of possibility that we could have seen a comeback, but that touchdown should put any hopes of a comeback out of reach. It's been a really quality effort for him here this one.
And no matter what else you think, you have to admire the initiative to finish things off their way. Don't leave anything the chance, no matter how small the odds of a comeback were. Send it home with a touchdown and get to celebrating.
Sanders on for the extra point. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21 points. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told.
And it ends with a touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. Now the Jets offense about set to take over as they head onto the field. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. 1st and 10 here for Flacco. Open man here is Conklin. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. Give him 10 yards there, and about by the nose of the football, he's going to have a first down. Decent start to the drive, let's face it. They need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time, down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
Flacco, and this will be incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from 35. Passing play, Flacco. Throw right side complete to Carter. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. That'll leave him with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
One last gasp for Flacco. And this is dropped and incomplete. Well, there's a metaphor for how this one is gone. As time has run out of this ball game. So a victory here for the Miami Dolphins. And when you break it down, this was just a thoroughly dominating performance.
And I truly thought that we'd have a tight game coming into this one. I think you felt the same way based on our conversation after the production meeting. But obviously not the case. And how about just how it broke open? You just all of a sudden, whoosh, there it is. This thing is pretty much done. And the crowd stayed with it to celebrate because they're like, let's enjoy watching our team play this well. This is fun.